Hello, this is Erin with the Joy in Pens and Paper, and this video is a 3 Inks Thursday video. A 3 Inks Thursday video is a video that comes out on Thursday and looks at 3 inks on 3 different papers using 3 different nib sizes for comparison and contemplation. If this is your first time seeing a 3 Inks Thursday video, thank you so much. This is the 17th, so feel free to check out numbers 1 through 16. I think at about somewhere around 3 to 5, I really get into my groove. The first couple, I was kind of figuring out materials and organization and such, but after video 5, I really get a little bit of consistency. And also, if this is your first time seeing one of my videos in general, you're not subscribed, please take a second, hit that subscribe button so that you can see future content and show your support. It only takes a moment. All right, so for this week, I'm going to continue using the 3 papers that I've been using for a bit because I pre-cut them out, so I'm not going to be wasteful. Those 3 papers are the Life Bank paper, which is this kind of cream colored paper right here, the very stark white Clairefontaine Rhodia paper, and then the Tomoe River paper. Beneath it, I have the page guide from Galen Leather Co. This is a notebook from Galen Leather Co. It's their everyday notebook for with Tomoe River paper. Apologies for my nails, but it is what it is. I am getting close to the end of this notebook, so I do need to consider purchasing a new one. And I really like using this, so I likely will purchase this same one. The 3 pens, again, continuing with how I have been doing it, I have the same exact 3 TWSBI Go pens, one with a fine nib, one with a medium, and one with a stub nib, so I will be using those. And additionally, I do have a Kakimori brass nib pen just to do the swatches. I have a inky white t-shirt to soak up the moisture as I swatch. I have a mason jar with some water. Today I have a snack off to the side. Not sure if I will actually eat it, but I have mentioned on my channel something called an egg loaf. It is butter, cream cheese, eggs, and cinnamon. Blend it, bake it, and it's kind of like a sugar-free French toast, sugar-free and carb-free French toast, and then I have a sugar-free syrup. All right, and then the 3 inks that I'm doing, the first one is Sandstone, the second is Ferris Wheel Press Workshop Wishes. You can see it has a shimmer in there. And the third is Diamine Inkvent 2022 Dusted Truffle. This one as well has a shimmer. So in terms of the order of swatching, the order will go non-shimmer first and then followed by the 2 shimmer inks. So first up is Birmingham Pen Company Sandstone. This is their newer bottle that is larger than their prior bottle. I'll just grab a prior bottle real quick, the one that I had really handy. So you can see the size difference here is pretty significant. And they also changed the labeling. I currently have 3 of this kind of copper topped Birmingham Pen Company inks. And if you're watching this on the day that it comes out, which is August 15th, I am anticipating getting some more inks for my birthday based on a box that I saw that arrived at my house. Now, as I do this swatch, I do turn the nib. I dipped these pretty equally, and on the bank paper, it was a little bit of a drier application than it was on the Tomoe River and even on the Clairefontaine. You can see there's some green coming out along the edging here, or I hope you can see that. I can see it. I'm enjoying it. All right. So with the fine nib, I'm just going to move the bottle over here for ease. I'm going to write the name of the ink brand, and then with the medium, I will write the ink name, and with the stub, I will write a series of upper and lowercase letters. And then I just dip in the mason jar in between, and I put the nib on the white t-shirt so that gravity can pull all the moisture out. So this is sandstone. And next up with the stub nib, we'll do some letters. Now I'm interested, for those of you that frequently watch my videos, give me some feedback on the sound quality. I have been using my AirPods when filming videos, and today I do not have them with me. So I'm interested in some feedback on whether you hear a difference. All right, so I have that agitated so there's no more shimmer sitting at the bottom. Now, I will not be shaking this to re-agitate it in between each tool. That would be much too cumbersome. So I'm just going to try to quickly get my swatches down, and hopefully there's some evenness with the distribution of shimmer. And this Kakimori brass nib, it has the wooden holder that is also sold by Kakimori, and you can see that that pretty snugly fit into the top of the ink bottle. And this I'm going to have to tip. So one of the critiques about Ferris Wheel Press is the very small size of the opening on these smaller bottles. I think they're, yeah, 20 ml bottle. I would add as a critique that with their labeling being just the sticker on the bottom that has the letters, you really run the risk of forgetting the names of the ink, especially if you have a robust collection. Hopefully that's enough. All right. I enjoy how these swatches are not even. That makes my heart happy. So I know some people like to do circles, or I've seen someone on Instagram, I wish I could remember their username, they do different shapes in different positions or sizes and such of octopuses, and I really love that. You know, others do lines or flowers or things like that. I'm really liking the lack of symmetry in these swatches and just kind of moving the nib across the page. There's just a little bit of shimmer here that's being difficult. Now this is a sample that was shared with me from a viewer that I did an ink swap with. And I love doing that. It's just a nice way to get exposed to different inks without having to spend a ton of money. You spend, you know, around maybe $8 for shipping and a mailer pouch. And then the investment in getting the vials, I guess you should include in that also. But I think it's just a really nice way to be able to explore different inks, and especially if you have some similarities in color palettes that you like. Or I've had some where I get a sample and it's one that I never would have added to my cart, which just allows me to explore this hobby more. In a time where money is tight, not everyone has the luxury to spend quite a bit of money. So I'm going to write Inkvent 2022 right here. This is Dusted Truffle. Did I not dip that enough? And then finally the stub nib. All right, there is that one. Let me just cap this sample so I don't make a mess. All right, so here are the 3 inks. So when I select the inks, I actually go through a swatch book that I have through the brand Wearingeul, and it was a swatch book that was included in a monthly subscription box called Ink Journal, or through Ink Journal. Anywho, and that uses a different paper than what all 3 of these are swatched on. So when I picked out these 3 inks, they all seemed really similar. And now as I'm looking at them on this page, the Ferris Wheel Press Workshop Wishes is the outlier. That is the one that seemingly doesn't belong. Sandstone and Dusted Truffle are very similar base colors. Not exact, but very similar. Some things of note that are coming to my eyes, and I believe these are observations that I have been making recently, is the bank paper does not really highlight a whole lot of shading properties. That does not seem to be its forte. However, I did start noticing some of the edging here, and it's not a sheen, but there is a little bit of green that's coming out in the edge. You are still able to see that on the Clairefontaine and the Tomoe River paper, but it gives you a really lovely representation of the color, and the color does seem to be a little bit more poppy, a little bit brighter on the bank paper, maybe a little bit more saturated. That might be the word I'm looking for. You absolutely see the shading on Clairefontaine and Tomoe River, especially with Sandstone. You see it a little bit with Workshop Wishes and a little bit with Dusted Truffle. I am loving these rings that come out here on the Tomoe River paper for sandstone, and again, you're seeing that green along the edge. There's even just a little hint of a pink undertone in these more saturated or saturated areas of the ink. Workshop Wishes is my favorite on the Clairefontaine paper. It's such a beautiful golden color that comes out. You're getting a little bit of the shading, and the shimmer is really nicely distributed. And again, keep in mind, I didn't re-agitate the bottles. Having said that, when you look across the 3 papers, if you're able to pick it up, at least for Workshop Wishes, it's not heavier on the bank paper, which is the first one that I swatched, more so than Clairefontaine and Tomoe River. I think for Dusted Truffle, it is a little bit more pronounced on the bank paper. It's still present and evenly distributed on the other 2 papers. It's probably the lightest on Tomoe River. Now, one thing I am noting, but I've said this in the last couple, it is quite humid where I live. Very humid. And I notice a little bit of feathering using the medium nib for Sandstone, Workshop Wishes, and even a little bit of Dusted Truffle. I don't see the feathering for the stub nib on the first 2, but just a tiny bit on Dusted Truffle. That could be the humidity. It could be that the paper is just a little bit more moist to begin with, and so the ink isn't necessarily sitting on top of the paper. It's saturating in a little quicker. I'm not sure. So that is the 17th edition of 3 inks. Using some brown inks this week. I really love my brown inks. If there is a color palette that you are interested in seeing me swatch, or if you have some specific inks, whether you know that they're in my collection or you're interested in colors similar to that, feel free to leave a comment. And as well, I would love to know, since I shared what I consider kind of a healthy food item, meal, snack with you, feel free to leave me some recommendations in the comments. I'm always looking for some different food ideas. Last night I took a green pepper and I quartered it, and on the kind of the inside fleshy part, I added a little spoonful of tomato sauce with some mozzarella cheese and put a couple of pepperonis on top and baked it alongside the pizzas that I made for my son and my husband, and it was delicious. It was really good. So I need to spice up what I'm eating, because if I get bored, then I get lazy and make poor food choices. So let's all help each other out. And with that, I'm going to sign off, because that has nothing to do with ink. And hopefully I will see you in my next one. Bye.